The X-Men has and continues to be one of the most outwardly non-normative comics out there. And what I mean by that is you don't see traditional family structures, or you see non-traditional family structures. You see non-traditional characters really being held in a new light. And I think for that reason, queer people like myself have been very drawn to those comics. You see a lot of themes in the X-Men that are lived truths for the queer community. One of the biggest ones is this feeling of being othered because of something that you have no control over. The movies and the comics both have, really great scenes of mutants figuring out this part of them that was thrust upon them that they have no control over, but it is part of their identity, as well as dealing with the idea of coming out to parents, friends, family, and the differing reactions from that. And I think that really resonates with the queer community because that's something we deal with and we constantly deal with. And I think another really big tie into the queer community is this feeling of being othered by society. So you have, the public deciding that you are worth less than everybody else, or you are a freak, not worthy of being in mainstream society simply because of this identity that you have no control over. And both of those things really resonated with me as a queer person, feeling othered. I went to a Catholic university, so, feeling very closeted, pushed into the closet, told that I would be less than other people if I were to come out. And another really big piece of the X-Men that really speaks to queer people is this idea of chosen family. So in the queer community, chosen family is this group of people you have chosen to be in your life because they love you and support you and get you and push you to be your better self. More often than not, they're other queer people, and you see that really mirrored in the X-Men. They leave their blood families and they go live with Professor X, and it's a house full of people who get it, a house full of people who are the same. All our powers might not be the same, but we're all here because we've been cast out by society and treated like crap, and, we're here together and we're making each other stronger. And I think that is such a huge thing in the queer community. And you see a lot of that in our reality, and I think that really resonates. Another thing in the X-Men that I think really speaks out to the queer community as well, on a negative side, is you see the mainstream public decide that mutants are only worth something if they can provide acts of good or service, right? So only when they're saving the world are they worthy of adoration, respect. And you see a lot of that in the queer community, both outwardly into society, but also within ourselves. So this idea of, unless you are pretty mainstream looking, like, you can't go into mainstream society and expect to be worthy of respect in their eyes. And this idea of, we have to perform in order to be worth anything. So those are some of the big ideas that I see in X-Men that resonate with me as a queer person.